Caribbean Sea, Dominica Island, 15 degrees and 25 minutes north latitude, 61 degree and 20 minutes west longitude. The island is found halfway between Puerto Rico and Trinidad and Tobago among the Lesser Antilles. Its neighbors are Guadeloupe to the north and Martinique to the south. One of the main pirate bases in 17th century. But our story begins in present time, on the other side of the planet. St. Petersburg, Russia, 59 degrees and 57 minutes north latitude, 30 degrees and 19 minutes east longitude. For centuries, tales of treasure seduced adventurers from all over the world. 21st century is no exception here. The progress of today allows us to reach any place of the globe within hours. Legends about pirates can be dated back to the ancient manuscripts brought from Europe by Peter the Great in the beginning of the 18th century. Right here in St. Petersburg is where our story begins. This is where a certain young man decided to go on a hunt for long-lost pirate treasures and visit the Dominica. We will follow him on his way and let the wind be favorable for our frigate. There are no direct flights from Russia to Dominica, so we make a stop in London and then again in Barbados. home of football, the Beatles and Bentley. Here, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle made up his genius detective Sherlock Holmes. But it takes more than a detective to find the pirate treasure, so we leave Mr. Holmes behind. Barbados is an island and country in West Indies, the Caribbean, among the Lesser Antilles, situated at 13 degrees and 10 minutes north latitude, 59 degrees and 32 minutes west longitude. The long, 12-hour-long flight across the Atlantic Ocean can make you shiver. It crosses the infamous Bermuda Triangle where ships have been going missing since long ago. But the hum of airplane's engine is calming and comforting, and here we are, standing on what used to be the pirates' lands of Barbados. Barbados served as one of the major pirate bases in 16th and 17th centuries. These days, it's a base for tourists and surfers instead. Rain season comes in June and stays till October. Though some people consider the island to be in the area of seasonal storms and hurricanes, it's not quite so. Barbados is situated somewhat to the south from the traditional hurricane zone. Tourists prefer western and southern coast of the island with their white sand beaches and warm Caribbean Sea. Strong waves of the island's Atlantic coast make that area perfect for surfers even though it's risky during the low tide. The Soup Bowl place is very popular among them. capital city of Barbados is called Bridgetown. It is situated around the bay, which is crossed by two bridges. Grantley Adams International Airport connects Barbados with direct flights to the USA, other countries of the Caribbean and some European cities, acting as one of the major junction points of the Eastern Caribbean Isles. From here, we launch towards our final destination, Dominica. Caribbean Sea, Dominica Island, 15 degrees and 25 minutes north latitude, 61 degree and 20 minutes west longitude. Coastline 148 km long, surrounding a 754 square kilometer land mass. The country is officially called the Commonwealth of Dominica. Capital city is Roseau. The island was formed by geothermal volcanic activity. There are several dormant volcanoes present on the island. The surface is mountainous. Highest point of the island is Mont de Blantin, which has an elevation of 1,447 meters. A narrow strip of beaches of black and yellow sand runs along the coastline. There are rapid streams and rivers with waterfalls in the mountains. There are also sulfur springs, mineral springs, geysers and boiling lakes. The island also has deposits of volcanic foam and limestone. Dominica's climate is tropical and moist, softened by northeastern winds, passats. Rain seasons come in June and stays till October. Hurricanes sometimes happen between July and August. This island, with its rainforests and the mountains, is almost perfect for hiding treasure. And so, we begin our search in the largest city, Roseau. Dominica's population is about 70,000 people, one-third of which live in cities. English is official language, but the majority speaks local French dialect called patois. Now it's being replaced by English Creole. Literacy is 94%. Dominica is divided into 10 parishes. National currency is called East Caribbean dollar, which consists of 100 cents. National holiday, the Independence Day, is on the 3rd of November. Dominica was British colony until 1978. Since then, it's a parliamentary democracy, with president being the head of the state. Any citizen at least 40 years old and with citizenship at least 5 years long, who is a senator or member of parliament, can be elected by there for the 5-year term. Executive power lies within the cabinet led by the prime minister, who is appointed by the president. Usually, it's the leader of parliament majority. With Prime Minister's recommendation, the President selects other members of the Cabinet. House of Assembly, consisting of 30 members and senators, is the highest legislative authority. Decisions in the House accepted an absolute majority with a quorum of 2/3. The countries which belong to Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, Antigua and Barbuda, Grenada, Dominica, St. Vincent, St. Kitts and St. Lucia, have a joint Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, with headquarters situated on St. Lucia. It's represented on Dominica by a resident judge, acting like the presiding judge of the island. There are also minor courts. Dominica's capital is called Roseau. It's a home for 50,000 people. It's a compact-built city surrounded by the Caribbean Sea, the Roseau River and the mountain Mount Bruce covered in forests. Earlier, this place was occupied by an old Indian village Sairi. Roseau, the oldest and most prominent settlement on the island, sits off the western coast and has the samples of both modern and French colonial architecture. Roseau's central part consists mostly of small houses divided by trees and open spaces. There are botanic gardens and parliament gardens in the city. Roseau River is one of the biggest in Antilles. In 18th century, all of the city was as big as present-day Central Park. Today, only 1/7 of the city's population lives in its center. Newtown and Pottersville, the oldest suburbs, were founded by late 18th, early 19th centuries. Goodwill was built in 1950s, Bath Estate early in 1980s. Newer settlements have been created around them since then. There are few residential buildings in the central part of the city. Mostly people come here to work. City's oldest inhabitants say that once there were no streets at all, only empty spaces between the houses. Ethnical majority on Dominica is of African origin, 91%, about 6% mulatto. There are also European and Syrian minorities as well as about 3,000 of Carib Indians, the remains of pre-Columbian population of the island. They live in the reservation in central part of the eastern coast. According to the archaeologist research, Dominica was populated 6,000 years ago. 2,000 years ago, agricultural Arawak tribes lived here. They were driven away to the other islands by more militant tribes, the Carib Indians, around the 14th century. Caribs made this island one of their major bases and call it Waitukubuli. Christopher Columbus discovered Dominica for the Europe on the 3rd of November 1493 on his second journey. Since this happened on Sunday, Columbus christened this land Dominica, Spanish word for Sunday. Columbus's ship physician wrote that the island was verdant and very beautiful. Being unable to find a suitable harbor, Columbus moved on, leaving one ship to examine the island. The ship was able to find a bay on the western end of the island. It's called Prince Rupert Bay now, and the city Portsmouth is situated near it. But the seafarers were afraid of Carib's scary reputation and left the island without setting foot on it. Later, Dominica was visited by more Spanish ships. The travelers often destroyed Indian villages, suspecting them to be cannibals. By the way, the word cannibal comes from very distorted word Caribbean. Neither Spanish missionaries, nor French ones after them, were able to turn island's inhabitants into Christianity. The difficult coastline and Indians' resistance kept Europeans from conquering Dominica for a long time. First French colony was created here only in year 1632. Is there a better place to begin searching for treasures than an ancient fort, which remembers many tales and legends of old days? This is the very place where second and third parts of the famous movie Pirates of the Caribbean Sea were filmed. Perhaps all those fictional pirates will give us a hint to where the real cutthroats of old, like Edward Teach, also known as Blackbeard, might have buried his riches. Since 1640, Britain struggled with France for control of the island. The British attempted to take over the island, slaughtering local populace. British claim for Dominica dates back to 1627, when the King of England gave a patent to the island to Count Carlisle. In year 1727, about 50 or 60 French families settled here. Their main occupations were harvesting timber and growing tobacco, cotton and spices, using slave labor. The Treaty of 1748 made Dominica a neutral island under control of its Carib population. Still, in 1756, Britain recaptured the island. Paris Treaty of 1756 officially made it British colony. British government sent commissaries to the island to examine the lands, decide which of them are good for farming and sell those that are worth it. Two forts were built, Roseau and Portsmouth. In 1764, the authorities divided the island into sectors. Some of them with less than fertile lands went to the Caribs as reservations. The rest were sold in London, earning more than £312,000 for the crown. Still, it took a while for the new owners to reach their purchased lands because of the armed resistance by the Indians and runaway slaves. French settlers mostly retained their lands and kept farming in exchange of filthy and small rent. British governor appointed to Dominica also governed over Grenada, St. Vincent and Tobago. On the 7th of September 1778, during United States War of Independence, French troops landed on the island, breaking British resistance. French rule, however, didn't last long, and in the April of 1782, British fleet defeated French in the naval battle at Les Sens. According to the Versailles Peace Treaty in 1783, France returned Dominica to Britain and the British governor was appointed again. France made more attempts to retake Dominica, all of which failed. In 1805, during the Napoleonic Wars, French General de Lagrange landed on Dominica with 4,000 soldiers. British soldiers and militia tried to stop them, but Rousseau had eventually to surrender and pay £20,000 contribution. Island's governor George Prevost had to flee to Portsmouth. After 5 days of occupation, French left the island. Treaty of Wien of the year 1815 established Britain as the island's owner once again. In 1833, Dominica, along with Antigua and other territories, became part of the Leeway Islands Governorate General. Only 250 years later, in 1967, Dominica gained partial independence, being recognized as a separate government. British rule was represented by a governor, while internal affairs were given to Dominica's citizens. On the 3rd of November 1978, Dominica gained complete independence, becoming a republic led by a president. Dominica, somewhere on the island. Dominica's economy is traditionally based on agriculture, banana plantations above everything. It depends heavily on climate and international market changes. Construction business has been growing recently together with manufacture of soap and tourist sectors. About 20% of the land is used for farming, to grow bananas, citrus cultures, mangoes, roots, coconut palms and cacao. There are small industries which process agricultural production, make soap, copra and palm oil, plywood and furniture, concrete, textile and footwear. Foreign companies also exploit the deposits of volcanic foam and limestone. What are those strange structures from long ago? Perhaps they are the remains of old colonial building factories, which once ground coffee, mild sugar cane or squeezed lime juice. We should say that in this particular way, the major export goods from the island changed each other in time. In 1750s, first sugarcane plantations emerged on the lands bought from the Caribs by French. French settlers also brought coffee to the island, turning it eventually into Dominica's main export product. As the price of sugar dropped, sugar industry at Dominica came almost to a halt by the end of the 18th century. Many landowners sold their plantations at extremely low prices or even abandoned them at all. This is when plantations of citrus cultures, especially lime, grew in prominence. In 1893, Laughlin Rose from Scotland acquired an abandoned sugarcane plantation and started growing lime instead. By 1924, his company was rich enough even to buy plantations in Africa. What exactly this factory used to produce is unknown. One can be sure, though, that this is where filming of the Pirates of the Caribbean Sea took place. Or maybe here. Perhaps those buildings still remember time of pirates, and some of them still hold strong boxes full of gold doubloons, gems and pearls. This might be one of them. At last, a reward awaits us. Oh well, let's hope for better luck next time. Dominica, Indian River. Many mysteries are bound to be hid in the murky waters of Picard River, but bringing them to light isn't easy. Sailing down this river, you can almost see the boats of bloodthirsty Indians and pirates. Probably, Columbus's men passed through her to admiring the isle's beauty and to breathe the air of mystery surrounding it. Many mysteries are bound to be hid in the murky waters of Indian River, but bringing them to light isn't easy. Sailing down this river, you can almost see the boats of bloodthirsty Indians and pirates. Probably Columbus's men passed through her to admiring the isle's beauty and to breathe the air of mystery surrounding it. The source of the river lies more than 1,000 meters high in the mountains. It empties into the Prince Rupert Bay between the town of Portsmouth and the village of Glenville. This is also one of the places where Pirates of the Caribbean Sea were filmed. This is the place where Captain Jack Sparrow met the mysterious Socrates Calypso, who then assisted him in his journey. This is where her house stood. Sadly, it's the only pirate-related attraction here for the tourists. Both Roseau and Portsmouth are situated on the Caribbean side of the island, near small bays which allow for safe docking. The Atlantic side of the island ends in rocky cliffs and mighty waves, and only the southern part where the Caribbean meets the Atlantic is a safe place through which ships can reach the island. Local legends tell us that this peninsula and its peak should still remember the time of pirates. Let's go and see what they know. The Carib Indians initially called this small peninsula Cachacru, which means literally an edible cap. The reason is simple. Sea waves seem to actually lick off the earth from the rocks. Most of the stone fortifications built several centuries ago have disappeared into the water, but some are still relatively intact. From this spot, on a sunny day, you can even see Martinique, French island 30 miles away from Dominica. Scott's Head is also one of few places on the island from which you can see both sunrise and sunset over the sea. the peninsula still holds the remains of old forts built by the first settlers. This rusty cannon is aimed at Roseau. Once it kept the enemy from approaching the island and probably even sunk some pirate ships. Scott's Head also holds quite a few mysteries. There's even an entrance to a secret cavern somewhere along its rocky coastline. It's also notable by the fact that while standing in the sea, you can easily throw a stone across land into the ocean, and vice versa. Dominica's coast is bounded by the warm Caribbean Sea from the west and by the harsh and cold Atlantic Ocean from the east. The beaches are covered mostly by the black volcanic sand. Occasionally, you can stumble upon a yellow sand beach or even a shingle beach. The island is one of the top 5 places in the world for whale watching. It's also a true paradise for all sorts of divers and swimmers. Still, Dominica's beaches are usually deserted with only a few of local people and tourists present. Probably we'll find what we are looking for here. Standing on Dominica's Black Beach, you can imagine cannon fire and the sound of pirate sabers clashing. The coast should still have at least some marks of the battles of the old times, but the sea tends to devour all traces left on the shore. Let's go fishing for them below. What is so special about diving at Dominica? There are great amounts of turtles and also an underwater champagne, a place where small air bubbles reminding of a certain drink rise straight from the seabed. The pirates had no taste for champagne though, preferring good old Caribbean rum.
Roseau, suburbs, Dominica's Botanic Garden. Almost all of Dominica's area is divided into national parks under the state protection. This helps greatly to preserve the unique nature of this place. Mind-blowing plants and trees can be found here, like this one, clearly the mother of all trees around the island. Perhaps once it saw Francis Drake himself and has some secrets to tell us now. cannonball trees and giant palm trees which make you feel like a pygmy, hummingbirds and iguanas, parrots and albatrosses. Both Dominica's flora and fauna are vast and diverse. It should be noted that Dominica is rather religious country. Major part of its population is Christian. Most of them are Catholics, about 77% of the population. 15% are Protestants, 6% belong to other confessions and only 2% are non-religious at all. Pirates didn't seem to believe into God or devil, or so we are told, but some of them might have occasionally paid a visit to one of the local temples. waterfalls. Watching tons of water plummet from the high rocks can make one feel weak and helpless compared to nature's own creations. There are several waterfalls on Dominica, and Trafalgar waterfalls are the most famous among them. Those twins are sitting right next to each other. The waterfall to the left, reaching the height of 38 meters, is called the father, and the one to the right, 23 meters high, the mother. Both of them are situated on the spruits of Roseau River. The Breakfast River, officially called Trois Pitons, is one of the spruits forming the rightmost waterfall. Travelers have to cross this river on their way to the boiling lake. One of the most picturesque waterfalls of the eastern coast is called Victoria and is situated on the White River, which feeds the famous boiling lake. The way to it begins in the village by the name of Davis. You can leave a car near the White River to walk the rest of the way. At some point, the jungle opens towards rocky cliffs, and it's amazing to see tons of water falling down. There's a small lake underneath Victoria. The water there is clean and cool and very pleasing to swim in. Standing next to the waterfall's powerful current and feeling strong wind blow into the ravine makes you feel a rush of adrenaline. As you climb higher and look down upon the lake, you feel even more afraid, while your imagination involuntarily draws images of Indian fighting against European invaders. Perhaps waterfalls' beds keep souvenirs of the days past, gold coins, rusty weapons and bleached bones among them. Aside from waterfalls, the island has many lakes with many rivers running from them. Most of the lakes are fresh and cool, but there's also the boiling lake, second largest in the world. The way to it is exceptionally hard, but it only makes the treasure more valuable in the end. The ascent towards the boiling lake begins from Titugosh, which can be reached by car from a village called Laude. The first part of the trip goes along the forest trail crossed by many creeks, up until the Breakfast River. Then, a long step climb through the rainforest awaits. This place is sometimes called the Elfin Forest, for its truly magical and charming place. Not everyone can cover this 10-kilometer trip on foot. Mountain trails that go up and down, temperature rising and dropping due to altitude difference. Often you will find yourself needing to crawl through the jungle and climb over the rocks, praying to keep all limbs intact, avoid meeting pythons and poisonous spiders. A real challenge for everyone. As you reach the Shark's Tooth Peak after the ascent, you can already see the lake. It seems so close, and yet there's still a long way to go. Valley of Desolation lies ahead of you. Hot steam shoots from the ground, which itself has many colors, black and orange, brown and white, an airy place, which makes you want to kneel and look for diamonds, since they can often be found in places like that. Still, it's too hot to look for anything here. A few climbs and turns more and we reach the boiling lake, second largest in the world. It's about 66 meters in diameter. Water temperature reached 92 degrees centigrade. We have found neither diamonds nor gold around the lake. We get to keep priceless memories of this unforgettable place. Dominica, Doubleton Peak, 50 degrees, 30 minutes and 12 seconds northern latitude, 61 degree 23 minutes and 50 seconds western longitude, 1447 meters high. We have covered almost all of the island with just one place escaping our attention so far. This is the Morne de Blaten, Dominica's highest peak. Morne de Blaten is a long dormant volcano with last known eruption dating back 30,000 years. Who knows, maybe at some point this giant will rise again to inform the world of the mysteries that now sleep within. It also has a younger brother, which is still active. De Blaten was named after the seabird frequenting these parts, also known as black-capped petrel. Dominica is often called a nine-volcano island. Our expedition is coming to an end. We searched every place of this pirate island, but the treasures eluded us. Still, not only the glint of gold, but this place's own fantastic beauty was what brought us here. The island's magnificent nature is a treasure by itself, and it makes you envy the Indians and pirates of old who got to reach its shores first. Knowing that Earth still has places like this to offer is comforting. The island's beauty and its mysteries lure tourists no worse than ancient treasures possibly could. You feel like a real pirate of old days here among Dominica's breathtaking landscapes, eager to shout to your comrades, "You can keep your gold, diamonds and pearls, cutthroats. Just go and conquer this island for me."